I need a storage system. As a matter of fact, I've been needing one for about 2 years now, and what better time to build one than with the newly added copper golems.
I'm tired, boss.
But where am I going to build it? Well, I want to transform this entire cavern, filling it with wildlife, structures, lore, and the perfect storage system. So I'm going to split this up into 3 phases. And first, we have to prepare the cavern for construction, meaning I have to get rid of all of this water. But since I don't fancy doing this myself, let's just enlist the help of our friend SpongeBob. And now we can start clearing the area for our new storage system. Oh my god, I just broke my pickaxe. I'm such an idiot. I mean, hey, at least I don't have to repair it now. Just made a new one. Okay, I'm running into one problem here. Deep slate, and because I want to get this video out in a reasonable time frame, I'm gonna have to use TNT machines instead. And because I don't want the TNT to make a big mess, what we'll do is dig some very deep trenches and then line the edges with water, and then the TNT should be able to cleanly get rid of everything in between, which yeah, has worked pretty well. And now we can move on to phase 2, building the storage system, which I've conveniently already designed in my separate creative world, and by turning it into a schematic, we can now easily build it in our hardcore world. Well, as soon as I collect all the blocks. Need so many tough blocks, dude. Now I need quartz for the comparators. Alright, and that should be everything we need to build this new storage system. And while I build this storage system in the background, let me give you some context on how big of an upgrade this thing actually is. Because my current storage with only 128 chests can hold around 450,000 items. But this new system, whilst also having the capability to automatically sort items for me, can hold over 6 million. And that is 1,728 double chests waiting to be organized and filled. And I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to watch me collect every block and item, because I've already got a video for that. So I'll just show you the important ones, like the ancient debris for a block of netherite, the deep slate emerald ore. Oh hey look, a deep slate emerald ore. Don't mind if I do. Yes, don't worry, I did find another one later. Oh, 2 as well. 3 deep slate emerald ores. And finally, all the different mob heads. Skeleton. Boom! And now all we have to do is label every single one of these chests. This is going to take forever. Now, this storage system isn't going to individually store every single item, because dedicating one module to sort something like every flower seems a bit overkill. Instead, either I or one of my friends here will have to sort it manually. For the rest of the system, since I had already categorized every block last episode, all I had to do was group them together, pairing colored blocks with plants, wood with natural blocks, stones with mob drops, and rare ores with tools and utilities. What we have to do now is go grab an item that we have a lot of, like lapis, for example. Don't ask why I have this much lapis, it's a long story. But now we need to rename all of these items to use as a filter in the hoppers so that we can only get the item that we want to pass through into the chests. And because I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me spend hours doing this, we'll just do a little skip. But now we can test if it actually works. If I grab something like this grey wool and put it into our input chest, that should start firing out and we should see it end up in here. Okay, something is clearly wrong. Oh wait, I forgot about the water. Oh my god. There we go. Unfortunately, this system can't sort everything, like armor and weapons, but that is where the copper golems come in. So if I grab some stone bricks and some glass, and if we build a little cage back here, and we spawn our boy Charlie in. Hello, mate.
Hello there.
We can now get our little friend there to sort stuff like armor. So if I put diamond leggings into that one, this copper golem should grab them and he'll put them in the first chest he searches that has diamond leggings in them, which he's put them in there. Why did he check that chest before that chest? What are you doing? You're not very good at your job, are you, mate? But if we put stuff in that he can't find in these chests, like a gold chest plate, he should dump it into this one, which the next copper golem will deal with. So we can basically just make a huge chain of copper golems that will sort all the random items that we still have left. Just another day of slavery in Minecraft. What else is new? So now we can move on to phase 3, which is decorating. So we'll start by decorating the actual storage area. We'll add some moss carpets, some wildflowers, and some little grass bits. This extra depth and detail is already like so much better. And we can also get all the beacons set up again. It's going to be nice to have all the beacon effects in this one area. And now we can move on to this entire cavern. And the first thing I had to do was cover up this ugly system. So grabbing myself some stone, I began to lay out the terrain of the cavern, adding dips and hills to make it look more natural. And making use of some bone meal, we now get the very satisfying view of watching this place go from grey to green.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
I'm gonna cut down a bunch of the grass in here as well. Like, I want this place to be overgrown, but not too overgrown, you know? And after a while of being a lawnmower, I also built myself a dripstone farm, because I was going to need a lot of dripstone for something that's totally not related to these random circles. And now that the terrain is done, let's get into the game plan, because there are 4 quadrants right here that I want to transform, each with their own themes. So first we'll start with this area, which we're going to dedicate to the copper golems. And the first structure I wanted to build was a small copper gazebo. So I just got straight to work. But my first attempt turned out absolutely horribly.
What the hell is even that?
And realizing these were supposed to be ruins, because I had stolen all the copper golems to be my minions, I quickly destroyed much of what I built, which funnily enough gave me a better result. And I'm just going to build more ruined houses all over this place. There's not really any technique to these, I'm just placing random blocks in and hoping it looks good. So we've got a couple of ruins here, but I think they need more copper features. So we'll just place a bunch of copper related blocks. I like the idea that these are like copper artifacts just being laid around in this place. Also, apparently there's like frozen golem statues you can get, but you need to wait for these guys to oxidize, so I'm just going to trap them in here. There is going to be one thing intact in this place, and that is like a secret copper vault. So if you guys have any lore ideas for what this vault is protecting, then let me know in the comments. Now it just needs more vegetation. And I don't mean just leaves, I also mean trees.
Huh?
What do you mean your jungle trees don't look like that? You know, there's nothing out the ordinary here. Okay, I'm gonna stop doing this transition, it takes way too long to do. But the trees look pretty nice, so we'll build a couple more of those. And I've also added these little shrub-like trees just to add more detail to the ground floor of this place. Right now there isn't too much on the roof and walls, but there's a big reason for that and we'll get to that later. For now I think this place is done, so we can move on to this quadrant now. What was that bounce? What the hell? Which we're gonna turn into a giant lush cave, but normally lush caves are made of moss. Oh my, of course the phantoms have to ruin everything, man. Just let me watch my moss farm in peace. And last time I checked, lush caves also have a bunch of glowberries on the roof. Right, George? I've created the ballsack farm. Yes, I'm immature, I know. Nope, and it's shooting blanks. George, I'm gonna need your help again to get these ballsacks on the roof. Oh my god, what am I doing? George. Alright, we'll see what kind of mess this turns into. The last thing a lush cave needs is a bunch of water and clay. But it's time for a quick history lesson, because you guys may remember this is one of the first caves I ever went to in this hardcore world. And it's also where I had my first near-death experience, forcing me to shelter in this tiny little cubby. So to honor that moment and cement it into our world, we're gonna build a little jungle shelter right here. One thing I would like to have first is a bit of a watchtower. Because obviously you need some lookout when you're surviving in a harsh jungle cave. Okay, that's a pretty cozy jungle shack. The interior is not very good, but we'll just ignore that. This place is looking luscious. What does luscious even mean? It means sexually attractive. Okay, that is not how I wanted to describe this place, but honestly, it is pretty luscious. So that out the way, let's move on to this quadrant now. And I want to turn this whole area into a big mining operation. The first thing I need to do is get rid of this like weird bump in the roof. Of course, there's water here. No, oh my god. There goes all the decorations I put down here. Great. SpongeBob, my savior. Hey look, this is even one of the bits I staircased down into this cave like 3 years ago. But look at me now, mate. I'm still just as stupid as before. Alright, the stone tomb is gone now. So we can start building. First thing we need is a mineshaft entrance, and we're gonna build a wooden elevator. This staircase design I'm doing on this shaft is gonna be the death of me, just placing stairs back and forth. And what we can do is use grindstones to make it look like there's a chain. So that's one shaft done. I'm also gonna build a bigger shaft over here that takes you down to the bottom. But next I think we're gonna build a campsite for the miners to sleep. By miners, I mean like the workers, you know, the dudes that are mining stuff. There's no child labor going on here. These miners ain't exactly got the best living conditions. Next, I think we'll build a crane lowering something down to the bottom. And yeah, I really like the use of shelves to make things look reinforced. It's actually a pretty nice block. W Mojang, mate. So if we have chains running down to each of the grindstones, that makes it look like this is the mechanism that lowers the platform down. So there we go. That's a pretty realistic looking crane, I think. Now we'll just add all the typical things you'd find in a mineshaft, like crates, ores, these log things you always see, and of course we need a railway system. So the railway, I can't speak, what the hell. So the railway can end here, so you can access the elevator shaft, and then it will just go into the wall over there, and we can imagine it continues throughout the cavern. The one problem with this mining operation is that there's nothing to mine. But luckily, I have the perfect solution to that. Dude, this is the kind of thing you'd see in a creative world, not a hardcore Minecraft world. Like, what is this? Alright, this is gonna be crazy. Honestly, not as much as I thought it was gonna be, but these will fit very nicely into this cavern. One thing I will say is I'm awful at building spikes, so don't judge. But I also want to make some other ore reserves using prismarine blocks. So for all the Hypixel Skyblock players out there, this will probably look pretty familiar. And yeah, honestly, these diamond spikes work really well with these. But I don't want to just have these in this section, because remember when I said that these walls look pretty plain? Well, that is about to change. Hey, we finally have some details on these walls now, and I also put a little lake over here because I didn't know what else to build in this section. So now we are down to the final quadrant. Slime, get out of here, man. And the theme for this one is going to be a bit more deadly. I want to add a bunch of geysers. Is that how you say it? I didn't want to say geysers because that's definitely not how you say it. Maybe these geysers will finally get rid of all the slimes in this place. Look at this dude. He thinks he can get me. What an idiot. And I didn't know this, but you can actually just place campfires directly underwater. That does not make any sense. Yeah, wait, how does this work? You can get burned from standing on them too. What is going on? A lot of geysers seem to have yellow and orange blocks surrounding them, so we'll add a bunch of that stuff in. Okay, but why does yellow terracotta look more orange than orange terracotta? What is this? This is red, dude. Am I colorblind? Okay, what about sandstone? Yep, that is infinitely better. So the whole idea for this section is that these geysers kill off any wildlife in the area, which would explain the giant animal fossil I'm going to build in a second. I'm not going to be building a skeleton skull this time. It's just going to be the vertebrae. And off the sides of these bits, we'll just call them rib cages, even though I don't think that anatomy makes very much sense. That sentence didn't make much sense either. What the hell? English is hard sometimes. I have no idea what this thing was, but it helps to sell the dead vibe of this area. And what I'm also going to do is build these trees again, just without the leaves, which makes it look like they're just getting killed off by this deadly environment. Okay, well that completes all the individual themes I'm doing for this cavern, and it is time to check on this dripstone farm. That is nothing. What the hell? That's not even a stack of dripstone blocks. This is definitely not going to cut it, because I need these circles to extend all the way up to the roof. So I guess I have to go mine it myself then. That's just great. Ow. This dripstone has taken me way too long to collect, but at least building the pillars won't be as bad, right? 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 Dude, that one is a whopper of a pillar, my god. Also, I definitely have to change that pillar, it looks terrible. But next step is to add a bunch of leaves and vegetation to these pillars. I also wouldn't mind trying to connect some vine shapes between the pillars. That could be cool. The happy gas is actually a bit of a lifesaver for this. I honestly couldn't imagine doing this without the happy gas. Yep, you're doing great, buddy. You're doing great. How is that looking so far? That is very nice. What the hell? These vines are pretty damn good. Although this roof is still very plain. And well, I just so happen to have some leftover diamonds. Yeah, why build a diamond beacon when you can just put diamond spikes in the roof of your cave, am I right? You know what? I think I've actually gotten better at building spikes. All it cost me was 5 stacks of diamond blocks, but honestly, those look really cool. I also built myself a nether portal just for easy access to the nether. It's a pretty simple build, just like an overgrown kind of thing. I'd say the only thing this place is missing is some animals. So first up, how are our copper golems doing? Oh, they've all frozen in time, dude. Wait, why is this guy T-posing in the wall, mate? And these copper statues I'm going to put in the ruins. That looks kind of funny. Or it's just, oh, you can change them. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. W Mojang, once again. The next animal I'm going to add is a bunch of axolotls. I believe one of these guys is a blue one. There we go. There's the blue axolotl. We'll get 2 of every color cat. These guys are going to be living like no other cats. Okay, it looks like, oh, they've actually all teleported to me. Good boys. And girls, maybe, I'm not sure. We can also get some sheep down here. Unfortunately, not all of them made it. And then we'll also get some chickens, if these eggs allow me. Alright, 4 chickens, it's good enough. We can finally say goodbye to the old storage system. Now its only use is taking me to the new storage system. Although I should probably centralize this hole and also decorate it. Go away, creeper. Oi, get away from me. You scoundrel. Okay, so that's the entire hole dug out. Now we can get to work on detailing it. Well, this change is gonna take some getting used to. My storage is gone, man. But this cave, which was once the catalyst for all the success I've made in this hardcore world, is now my underground haven. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for things that I should add to this place, then be sure to let me know in the comments below. And real quick, I just want to say a big thank you for all the support you guys have given me this year. The fact that we're almost at 100k, or we potentially hit it by the time this video comes out, is crazy to me. So yeah, thank you guys again. I appreciate all of you, and I've got some big things coming for 2026, so stay tuned. And yeah, as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.